Hello. In the previous video, I talked a bit about how you can use Fabric Engine to process motion capture data and use it with machine learning techniques. Today I want to talk about a specific machine learning technique called neural networks. I'm not defining what it is or explaining it in detail, but I'm gonna say that it is useful and it's widely used for problems like data classification, data regression, and also dimensionality reduction. Like other machine learning approaches, neural networks, they have both a learning phase and a simulation phase. So the learning phase is something you're gonna do only once. You're gonna collect your data, and in the learning phase, your computer or a cloud of computers is going to process all that data and trying to find patterns in it, or try to find how we can better fit unlabeled data to labeled data and so on. So this is a do once slow process. In the case of neural networks, some algorithms are simple, others are more complicated. Well, it's not something you want to recreate yourself. So if you can use an existing library, that's very beneficial to you. And then we have the simulation phase, which is the thing you actually gonna do. Like if you have a real-time application, you're gonna do the simulation phase only, which is basically getting real-world data and trying to classify it or trying to do some regression on it and so on. In the simulation phase, it's very simple to implement. It's just a sequence of matrix multiplications. It's also really fast. And the actual sequence and number of multiplications depends on the topology of your network. So this was my pipeline for doing neural networks with mocap data. I was I was combining different motion capture libraries and extracting the features I wanted from my data within Fabric Engine. Then I was doing the learning and simulation processes inside of MATLAB, and then I would visualize the data in Fabric Engine. And if I wanted to do some post-process, I would have to choose in between doing parts of it in MATLAB and parts of it in Fabric Engine, depending on the kind of processing I was looking to do, in order to reduce the need to recreate stuff from one package to the other. So it would be very beneficial to me if I could do at least the simulation post-processing part in Fabric Engine. That's because it would be more closely related to the actual applications I'm intending to do, and it's also easier to post-process the data in that setting. So what I have done, since the simulation process is not that complicated, is I have implemented an extension called FE Neural Networks, so Fabric Engine Neural Networks, which basically defines a neural network object inside Fabric Engine and does the feed-forward process, which is just the simulation. And I think it's very useful if you're trying to do stuff like this. So this is the actual extension in use. So here I have created in MATLAB a very simple network, which is this one. The data comes in, we have one hidden layer and output layer, and then the data is classified in 4 different categories. Sorry. And here we can see the data going inside the network. Here we define the network, input data, do the feed-forward process, and output our categories, which goes into this switch case right here, and you see the classification of the data. So you can see it's quite precise. Here it's walking, then running. It will flicker a bit whenever it transitions from one type of locomotion to another, but it works nicely. Okay, so it's just also a very simple example. So the data I'm using to classify this motion is actually two vectors. So one vector is just basically the hips velocity, right here, normalized by character height. I can expose this to you so you can see. Get it right here. So it's this red vector right here. And the other data is actually the same thing, but dampened over a period of 1/3 of a second. So if you see this, you see it's okay. You see it's the same vector, but it's actually more stable. So the idea here is to compare the velocity in the last 1/3 of a second in the last instant, and based on this difference it will then classify the type of locomotion that is being performed. Okay, so this is a basic overview of what you're capable to do with this, and in the next video I'm going to show you how you can train a simple network in MATLAB and how then you transfer the setup of this neural network for use inside Fabric Engine. Okay, thank you.